Hey Dream Chasers, it's Jacey, and it's that time of year again. Inktober. If you're particularly masochistic, or perhaps a powerful wizard, then you're really excited. And this video probably isn't for you. And if you're looking for tough love, this video also probably isn't for you. I'm more of a soft love friend. I'll let you cry on my shoulder, and I'll tell you everything's gonna be okay, and then I'll make you comfort food, like grilled cheese, ooh, or French toast. So who is this video for? It's for people like me who hear Inktober and get just a little bit anxious. Real quick, if anybody doesn't know about Inktober, it's a daily art challenge that takes place during the month of October where you practice using ink. It was started by Jake Parker, and to participate all you have to do is make some ink drawings during the month of October and use the hashtag Inktober. And that's it. But depending on who you ask, you're supposed to do one ink drawing every single day, and it cannot be digital. And if you don't do one every day, you're weak and you're worthless and you should just quit art. There is a part of me that believes that. Like, if I don't follow the rules, why should I bother? I'm not good enough. I'm not dedicated enough. I'm a failure if I don't do a drawing every single day in Inktober. But that jerk needs to shut the hell up. They're wrong, and I'll tell you why. The first year I did Inktober was 2014, and I did 9 drawings. And I hated them. They weren't as good as everyone else's Inktober stuff, and I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and my work was all over the place, and I completely ran out of ideas by the 9th day. Were there always prompts? Because I definitely didn't know about prompts when I first started. Then in 2015, the next year, I tried to do Drawloween instead of Inktober, which is just a Halloween-themed drawing challenge, and it doesn't have rules about whether or not use ink or not use digital, so I thought I'd have a little bit more freedom. I did do a few ink drawings, but I still only did like 7 drawings before I gave up. 2016, Inktober was canceled apparently because I can't find anything for that year, so I guess I didn't do it. And last year, 2017, I did 14 drawings for Inktober. I know, super impressive, right? It's not even half of what you're supposed to do, but it was double the amount I did before, so I actually felt kind of good about it. I also saw some improvement in my art from previous years, so that was cool. And it was the first time I really had fun with Inktober. The biggest change was probably that leading up to Inktober, I had already been drawing a lot more, so the whole daily drawing thing wasn't as intimidating. In previous years, I was using Inktober as my motivation to get back into art, which was honestly way too overwhelming. To go from barely drawing at all to also inking a bunch of stuff is a huge step. I don't recommend it. And by the way, after doing Inktober in 2017, a little better than I had previously, I actually did really well when I did the Mermaid Challenge in May, and I did like 90% of that. So I actually am almost qualified to give advice about getting through art challenges. Anyway, I just wanted to give you some tips about surviving Inktober if you're like me and it just kind of stresses you out. First off, I guess let's talk about tools. Honestly, it's not that important. You could use a ballpoint pen and printer paper and you're still participating, and that's totally fine. If that's what you've got, great. That said, I've been using these multiliners from Copic, and I really like them a lot. It comes with a bunch of different sizes, and also it comes with 2 brush pens, which I've been really digging those. For paper, I've just been using like 5x7 cardstock. You could use sketchbook paper. I don't think it really matters. I don't know. I'm kind of a noob. Okay, so a big part of surviving art challenges, for me at least, is keeping pain to a minimum. Drawing every day can be really rough on your wrists and your back, so here's how I cope with that. First of all, take lots of breaks. If you're in pain, stop. Make sure you drink plenty of water. It actually helps keep your joints lubricated, so you're not going to be as much wrist pain, and it helps you kind of stay alert and feel less tired to be hydrated, so hydrate. Make sure that you stretch. There are tons of videos right here on YouTube on how to stretch your wrists and your back and your shoulders. My other advice is pick up some compression gloves. They're made for like arthritis and carpal tunnel, and anybody who works with their hands and you're doing lots of repetitive motions with your hands and wrists, these are amazing. I got them as a gift earlier this year and they've really helped me a lot. I wear them whenever I draw, and I used to get this sharp pain in my wrist, and when I wear these, I don't get that pain anymore, so these are awesome. I highly recommend them. I also have this thing called a Rad Roller. It's designed for myofascial release, which is just a fancy way of saying massage, and you roll your wrist and your forearm on it, and it will kind of massage these muscles. You just put it right down on a flat surface and roll. Seriously, this thing is amazing. Also on Amazon. There's going to be links in the description to all this stuff. Alright, so you've got the tools. Now you just need to figure out what to draw. There are so many Inktober prompts now that you will never run out of ideas. There's the official prompt list every year, but a lot of artists make their own. Here are some of my favorites for this year. There's Inktober Witches by Stevie Ray Drawn. The prompts are inspired by her Witchy Boy series, The Weather Wax Coven, which is amazing, by the way. You should totally check it out. I just think these sound really cool. I'm particularly excited about tarot reading. And can't you just instantly picture something adorable for Kitchen Witch? That's such a cute prompt. If you're not really into spoopy stuff, there's a Deep Sea Creatures prompt list by my friend Jasmo Colors. You can use the hashtag InktoberDCS 2018. Okay, and I'm really excited about this one. The Gothic Horror list by, oh god, I'm about to butcher this name. Valiane? I'm sorry, I'm saying your name wrong. But this prompt list caught my eye. It's really unique. A lot of prompts include a random word for every day, but this one is clearly meant to craft a story. There are 4-day segments of the list that are meant to go together, listing a location, a character, a creature, and an item. For example, the 17th through the 20th is an anonymous place of worship, a person of faith, that's in the Belfry, and the Reliquary. And this prompt in particular is really cool for anybody who doesn't want to just practice drawing characters, but wants to get into storytelling and comics and drawing backgrounds. It's perfect for that. There are hundreds of other lists because tons of artists make their own, so just poke around Twitter and Instagram and follow your favorite artists and see if any of them have their own Inktober prompt list. And feel free to mix and match prompts. I did that last year. I combined part of Lana J's prompt list with the official Inktober prompt list. Her list last year included a flower and an animal every day, and I really wanted to practice drawing flowers, so I just borrowed the flowers from her list and combined it with the official prompt list from Inktober and kind of did my own thing. And there's one more thing I want to tell you about that I found out about after I recorded this video, and that is Queentober. My friends over at Aneshi Press are inviting you to draw their comic book character, Tracy Queen, during Inktober. You can use any prompt list and draw in your own style. You just have to draw the character Tracy Queen and use the hashtag Queentober. And if you do, you might get featured in an upcoming graphic novel. And if you haven't heard of Tracy Queen, go to tracyqueen.com and check out the comic. It's about a feminist, martial artist, porn star, warlord, badass, who's best friends with the talking raccoon that does a lot of coke. I mean, what's not to like? But of course, you don't have to use prompts at all. Last year, I also used Inktober as an excuse to kind of sharpen my digital inking skills. I tried out Clip Studio for the first time, which, by the way, I loved it. And I inked a coloring page. By the way, if you're in the coloring club on Patreon, you're going to get a high-res copy of this piece for October 2018. Some people will tell you that Inktober is for traditional art only, and they will fight you on Twitter about it, but honestly, screw that noise. Digital inking also takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience, and if Inktober is the motivation that you need to practice, then do it. Don't worry about what anybody else says. I know my buddy Kel McDonald plans to use Inktober as motivation to finish inking his comic, Vigilante 2890, and I support that plan because you should use Inktober however you want. And also, I want that damn comic to come out, Kel. Finish it, man. Do it every day. The point is, Inktober should be fun and for you. Don't get bogged down too much with rules and details and prompts. Just use it to your advantage. Practice a skill that you want to sharpen or draw stuff that interests you. And if you get bored, just go out of order. Skip around the prompts, skip stuff that seems boring to you. Or you can use it to ink some pieces that you've been meaning to ink and you just haven't got around to it. I'm probably going to bounce around between prompt lists and inking old artwork and working on some traditional comics and just kind of using it as an excuse to do a little bit more inking. Oh, which brings me to prep. Some people will say that it's cheating to plan ahead for Inktober, but if you haven't noticed, I really don't care. Some people do their sketches ahead of time so that they only have to worry about inking during Inktober, which I think actually makes a lot of sense, right? The whole point is to practice inking. Well, my friend Hutaru actually came up with a really cool idea on how to prep for Inktober. She designed a couple of characters that she's going to use for all of her prompts throughout the month. So that way she doesn't have to think about coming up with new characters every day and designing that. She just gets to take these existing characters and put them in new situations every day. And that is such a cool idea because you get to practice drawing the same characters with different expressions and different poses, and that's a really good skill to sharpen too. Alright, and finally, let's talk about this whole daily drawing aspect of the challenge. Before anyone tells you otherwise, even Jake Parker, the guy who created Inktober, says that you don't have to draw every day. If you can, that's awesome. But if you can't, any drawing is better than no drawings, right? Say it with me. Any drawing is better than no drawing. That means 1 is better than 0. So don't sweat it. So with that out of the way, if you want to do more than 1 drawing in the month, cool. you still don't have to commit to every day. In fact, I encourage you to choose a reasonable amount of days that you can commit to, and that's it. If you end up doing more, that's great, but don't stress yourself out. If you can reasonably commit to 1 drawing a week, then do 1 drawing a week. I'm personally aiming for 2 drawings a week this year because as much as I'd love to say I'm a badass and I could do Inktober every single day, I know I'd just be setting myself up for disappointment. Real talk, I just took a full-time job as a cashier to save up money. I came out as trans, non-binary a few months ago, and I decided that I wanted to get top surgery, which is really expensive. So currently I'm juggling a full-time job, Twitch, YouTube, art, deadlines, and spending time with my friends and family and my spouse, and it's just a lot. Adding a daily drawing to that isn't really realistic for me right now, and I don't want to burn out and disappoint myself by setting myself up with these like unrealistic expectations. I really just can't mentally afford that kind of a letdown right now, so I'm not going to set myself up for one. I also recommend setting a time limit for how much you're going to spend on every drawing every day. I learned the hard way during Mermay that time limits are important when you're doing a daily drawing or even a weekly drawing. I spent 6 hours on some of those pieces, and then I didn't have time for I don't know, cooking healthy meals and exercising and sleeping. You gotta sleep and eat and take care of your body. No art challenge is worth that. Make sure that you're not overdoing it. And if you are doing a daily challenge and you're committing to that, that's wonderful, but please forgive yourself if you miss a day. Personally, I'm not into the makeup day thing, so I think that gets really overwhelming really quickly, but you can if you want to. Whatever you do, just forgive yourself. This is meant to be a fun challenge. No one's grading you. No one actually expects you to do it. And no one's going to be like, oh my gosh, you didn't post, your drawing on day 10 and you just skipped it. They're just going to scroll through and see, oh, cool, another Inktober from this artist I like. That's great. You don't have to worry about every single day. Don't stress yourself if you fall behind. Forgive yourself. And just remember, you're human and flawed and imperfect. And there's always next year to do better. Anyway, good luck. I look forward to seeing all the art that you guys come up with. Hey, real quick, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who supported this channel, subscribed, liked, commented on videos. I read all of them. And a huge thank you to my patrons. You guys are amazing. I am really emotional about your support. I'm going to try not to cry. By the way, if you dig this channel and you want to get early access to videos when I'm actually ahead and not terribly behind, for $1 a month you can have that, and for $10 a month you can get your name in the credits of all my videos and access to bloopers and behind the scenes content. For $3 a month you can join the Dream Chaser Coloring Club, and every single month you get a high-res copy of a coloring page, and there's a contest that you can enter and win cool prizes like this Chase Your Effin' Dreams t-shirt. There's some entries so far, and can I just say that my heart is full of rainbows right now? You guys are so talented and awesome. It's making me super happy to see all of these coloring pages. Okay, I really am gonna go cry now. Bye, chase your dreams.